gorilla stomping in a zoo. Check the vocals, animals get it right. Boom.
Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. Where in today's video I'm going to be doing some more work on the rabbit house. In the past couple of videos you'll see me put a push on to try and finalize this project, get it out on the land and put it into use, because the spring is here, it's time for animal season, and for our plans that we have going forward, we really need to get this finished up. So you see me last time doing some painting. Well, today is going to be no different. I got some Firecracker red paint. It's a Behr brand name paint from Home Depot, and it's the same color that I've used on our chicken coop and rabbit coop. So this little house is going to be no different, and I'm just going to be starting off by rolling a couple of coats onto this, and we'll go from there and see what else we can get done today. So with no further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so here's the paint I'm working with today, and it is, like I said, Behr brand name, exterior flat, paint and primer in one, and non-reflective finish for walls and siding. So I'll get that opened up. Now this black top is a little bit new to me. I'm used to the metal tops, but we'll get this opened up and have a look at what we have. Again, it's a Firecracker red, which is a very barn style red that I found worked really nice on the chicken coop and rabbit coop. There we are. So this actually looks a little bit lighter than the previous one, but hopefully it dries to the same color as I've been using. I'll get that put out in my tray. There we are. And we'll be ready to start. So as far as applying this paint goes, I'm not doing anything special. This is just a standard roller that you buy over the counter and paint tray with a liner. So easy peasy. Again, this paint is not really, it's not looking to be the same color as I used before, so I'm not sure if anything has changed with their recipe for Firecracker, or maybe I just don't remember it the same, because it's been a while since I did any painting of this color. But even if it's a close color to it, I'll be satisfied. It's not that big a deal. So this is a brand new roller, so I'm getting it well saturated to begin. And as I said last video, it's probably going to be pretty quick to get a coating put on this, because all the exterior are just all big flat surfaces. Should be easy to roll. The only thing is that the plywood is brand new and tends to soak up a lot of paint, so I could end up refilling this tray a few times. We will find out. So as you can see, first coat is on. Went on nice and quick, nice and easy. Again, the color seems a little bit almost pinker than what I remember with the chicken coop and the rabbit coop. One thing that's different with this paint mix that I got is that it was a paint and primer in one, whereas the last one I got I think was just pure exterior paint. So whether or not that makes a bit of a difference, I don't really care. It's turned out great. Alright, I'm loving it. Especially if we're going to be using this for breeding in particular. You know, that extra little pinkness is, you know, kind of plays into having the does in there and stuff, you know, so it is what it is. But I think it's actually turning out pretty close. It's just that it needs to cure and dry to get to that firecracker red color that I'm used to. But as you can see on camera there now, like even when I look in the screen on the camera, I can see that nice barnyard red that I was after and that I got with the chicken coop and stuff. So as this side dries, it's becoming more of what I'm familiar to, and I think that's all it is. It just needs to dry and then the color will come out again. Alright, so I'm going to let that set up there now, and I'm going to get back and do another coat, and pretty much the red will be done at that point in time. And that's pretty quick. It's faster than the time I have allotted for working on it today. So pretty sure there will be a construction element happening today as well. So we'll get back, do a second coat on this. It'll be a couple of seconds for you, probably be about a half hour for me while I let this set up. And we'll get into our second coat and be done with the painting. For this much at least. Anyways, still some more painting to do. But yeah, let's let it set up. Be right back with you. Alright, so first coat is set up. I'm ready to do another. So I'm going to get right back into it. There you go. What do you think? I like it. I like it. I think the color is definitely on par with the other firecracker red that I had. Either way, it's a beautiful color. Really, really makes the white pop out of the top of it there. And just not seeing that wood color anymore just feels like such good progress on this project, you know? So after such a long time since the beginning of this, it's nice to see it at this stage here now. I might actually do like a third coat, but I'll do that off camera. And when I come back, I'm going to discuss what I have in mind for a little construction project today. And really, I'm not really sure yet. I got two choices. I can make doors or I can make a lid. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out when I come back, which will be in a couple of seconds for you. Alright? Catch you on the other side. So, I'm back and just relaxed while the paint cured and dried. I did put a third coat on, so that's all done, and I'm finished with the red paint for now. What I want to do is get into the next part of the build. And it's the most intimidating part for me, I don't know why. But if you watch my chicken coop build series, it was the last thing that I did on there as well. And it is the lid. I don't know why it intimidates me so, it's just the designs that I come up in my head. What I come up with, sometimes I'm not sure if it's going to work out the way I plan. So anyways, I'm going to mock this up the way I have a picture right now, I'm going to mock it up on video. I didn't plan this out beforehand. I'm just kind of coming up with this in my head, so I figured I'd turn on the camera and just think this out as I go. So let's get into it, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. What I am thinking is taking my half strips of 2x4 that I ripped down the middle. One will be on the back similar to this. And I'll clamp this on. So I'm thinking that'll be there. And then I'm going to have another on the front. This one in the front can be kind of floating. It doesn't need to be flush up against the rabbit house. But it'll be like this. And this is where a belly comes into play. Alright, all you ladies out there can be jealous of our functional belly. Okay, so that'll be on there, but it'll probably be a bit higher because I'm thinking plywood roof across like this. So I'll need a certain amount of overhang on front and back and sides. So this is what I'm thinking, something like this. I'll bring you guys down a little bit lower there now, and you'll see what I'm going to be seeing. Alright, so you see the side profile that I'm sizing up here now. And so what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to cut a bit of an angle off this runner here to get that in place. So this plywood will settle down on the edge right there. So I got to find the right angle to cut this so it will go up and mount onto the plywood. Probably doesn't need to be like full, probably just need to take a corner off here. Right? So probably need to take a little bit off there, so I need to find this angle between the board and the plywood, what I need to take off. And then on this side, this is going to have to come up with a similar angle and mount onto the front of the plywood, but it's going to be up higher, probably about halfway the thickness of this, higher to meet up with this plywood. So I'm going to have to take the same angle off of this one. And I believe from doing my supports earlier that this is a 16-degree angle. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to get my table saw out, see if I can get a little test piece for testing out these angles, and we'll see if that works out properly. And then hopefully you'll see exactly what I'm seeing. I'm thinking that you're picking up what I'm putting down here. But this is the general idea. I don't know how much of an overhang I'll have on the front and sides and back. Nothing too crazy. And I can either leave this space here for ventilation, or I'll do another similar to my braces on the inside. I'll brace one down the length of this with same angles, and that'll cap off the sides. I think that'll be how it goes, I believe. So yeah, this is probably the more intimidating of the projects. I think it'll turn out fine, but it's just a lot of angles to consider, and rotation, making sure everything clears, right? I don't want this to go up and then this board bring up in the side and it not open. So it's going to have to kind of float outwards, probably an inch or so. Alright, so I'm going to probably just saw off one of these as a test piece for getting the angles correct, and then I'll get the table saw out and we'll get to work. So let's get my angle set. So I'm going to go for 16 degrees. Let's try that. It doesn't look like a whole lot. And I'm just going to find out now exactly what corner I want to cut off on this. So it's going to be this corner here. Alright. Let's get my fence put in place. Yeah, I don't know if 16 is going to be the right angle or not. We'll find out. Alright, so let's try 16 degrees. See how it goes. Get my little advancing stick here. See how that looks up underneath the plywood. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken my runner out of place. So now the plywood is on there, the same place I would want it to be. And here's our 16 degree cut. And that fits in there absolutely perfect. So 16 degrees is absolutely the angle we want. And then we'll mount down into that. So, nice. I may actually continue the cut right to the other corner, and that'll eliminate this little gap. So I'm going to try that as well. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the table side and just extend that into the corner and see how it looks. Okay, so I've extended the cut into the corner now. There we are, that looks great. Absolutely. So I'll keep my table saw set up exactly as it is there now, and I'm going to rip this this board exactly like that. Alright, so we got our 16 degree bevel put in. And that looks perfect. Alright, so that is success so far there. Next, we got to do the front one as well. So I'm going to work out which side of that I need to take off. And I'll pass that one through as well. Now that I have my cuts made for my runners on the ends, I need to figure out what size plywood I need for the whole roof. I know that the structure itself is about 7 feet long, but I will measure further before I make any final cuts. But I want to figure out this measurement here from front to back, which would give me a nice overhang on both. So I'm thinking something along these lines here. So if I give myself enough room with the piece we just cut, so that's about, we'll call it 1 3/4. I'm going to do 30 inches is my final decision, and that'll give me almost an inch of wiggle room front to back. for mounting it, and that should get me in the clear. So let's do 30 inches on the plywood, and I'm just going to rip a full sheet right now of plywood, and I can trim off the excess afterwards. And I'm going to use my freshly painted house as a cutting table again, and get that marked out and cut. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys noticed this then, but I don't think I've ever seen this done before. It doesn't mean that it doesn't get done on a regular basis, but I used my little extra set of hands, my clamp, and after I went so far with the saw, I went back and held the two ends of the plywood together with this clamp. Anyways, it worked out wonderful. So if you're watching this now, that was amazing. It was like having an extra set of hands holding the back of the board to keep it from falling. Because usually when I strip a big sheet of plywood like that, the end tends to fall down and jam up the saw. And you've probably seen it in the last video. I got right to the end and then it jammed the saw, and the saw kind of, bumped on me a bit. So anyways, I figured I'd try this time, and it worked out great. Doesn't mean it's going to work every time, but it was clamped down there good and tight, and it held up really good. So anyways, that's our top cut. Now I got to cut the length, and I measured it out. The house itself is 7 foot 1 inches long. Now that's not about 85 inches. So giving myself 2 inches on either side gives me 89. So I think that's the length I'm going to cut it to. I can't see the house swelling or anything beyond that size. I think it should be a nice fit and keep things from getting up into it. Definitely keep out anything big once I put the side blocks on there, because the side blocks are only 1 3/4 inches, so I should have 2 inches on either side of wiggle room, with an overall wiggle room of 1 inch once everything is put together and assembled. So that's what I'm going to do, 89 inches in length. That'll be one more cut, and then we'll get to assembling the lid. Now I do have 2 more cuts to make, and that is our beveled edges, or beveled ends. So I'm just going to measure those to 89 inches as well, and quick cuts on those pretty quick. So now that all the cuts are done, I'm going to move on to assembly, and I'm not going to turn the sheet upside down or anything like that to assemble, because I don't want my mind to forget exactly how it's laid out here. Alright, got our Donkey Kong glue, of course. And basically, I'm going to put this up on top here. I'm going to glue it up here, and then I'll lift the sheet up and secure it on, like such. So let's start off with the glue. It's probably going to run a little bit, so I'm going to start at the front. And the reason I want to do it up here and not get it mixed up is because this is my factory edge here, and I don't want to lose my factory edge in amongst all this process. And trying to keep it straight when you're turning things upside down and inside out, I could end up putting the front on the back and the back on the front, so I'd much rather just assemble it as it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to end up. As well, I got a little garden name tag. I'm just going to smear the glue on this a little bit because I want to, this is going to be a handle for opening this lid. So I want really good adhesion across the whole surface. So it's pretty rare that you see me being this thorough with my glue, but in this instance I will. That's a good coating there. So now I'm going to lift this plywood up and flush it with the lip. And I'm going to start securing that down. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Move the lid up. Give myself some working room. This one is going to be going on like this. So let's glue that. And then I'll get that secured into place. So, for a moment of truth, I tied it up a bit off camera, but I did not move this roof. So we're finding out together how all this panned out. So I'm just going to haul it backwards and see how it is. Alright. Alright, that's how it's going to look right there. Maybe, see, I don't have my measuring tape. It's going to be right over that a little bit. Yep, right about there. What do you think? Looks alright? Alright, for such an intimidating part of the job, it wasn't so bad. Alright, we've figured out all the angles. I put a little bit of trim on the side between there and here, but that'll take a little bit of ripping, and you know, it'll be similar. Let's see if I can show you. It'll be kind of similar to like something like that, you know. But that looks great. Yeah, quite pleased with that. Roof turned out great. So I'll have hinges on the back, and this whole thing will tip backwards. Alright, so you may have noticed on the other side of the roof there, I did a lot of manipulating. That other piece of wood had a pretty significant bow in it, so I was kind of treating it almost like a roof end cap, a sill or whatever, that just bending it as I went, put in a screw at a time, then bend it back where it needed to be. Anyways, I managed to muscle it into place, so we're good. But yeah, we got a roof, we got paint, just a few little things to tidy up, make some doors for the 4 bays here, and this thing is ready to rock. So awesome, absolutely awesome. But that's going to clue things up today. It's almost supper time here now. My wife's going to go get me a treat, get us a treat. We're going to have some Mickey D's, some Dirty D's, and have a great supper and bring the kids out later, probably have a look and see the progress made today. I think they'll be pretty excited. I'm excited, and I'm excited to go in and edit up this video and get it out to you guys and share this. So, all told, great day, great progress, can't beat it. Alright, so next video we'll get back doing some more of this, or maybe we'll be up in the rabbit coop moving that hay feeder that I mentioned in a previous video, and pretty much just keep things moving forward and working towards our rabbitry goal of getting the rabbits out on the land and breeding them and going from there. So, till that next video happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out.